Good evening, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business here, and let's wake up the football gods. Wake up here, guys. Wake up. You know, I have been truly blessed, okay? You know, this is Joe Boo's Man Cave, but see, this is the house for all of us. As long as you don't bring in dog crap on your shoes into my house, you are welcome. I have been blessed to have had like E2 Blue in here. I've been blessed to have DMV, Dallas Cowboys. I wish he was still on YouTube. I've had the Law Nation up in here. In fact, Law Nation was here just before the coronavirus hit and was supposed to be coming back. But then all changed in the world. I have had Cowboy Crunk up in the house. Crunk up in here. Oh man, Crunk has been right there on the couch. And I, of course, had another one of these guys that I almost deemed like a second son. You know, actually, all of them, I feel like, you know, I feel like they're my kids. Okay, I'm literally that old that I could be all of their fathers. God, am I old? But one of my favorites is Voch Lombardi. Voch has been over there, and he's been throwing down the Mambo Sauce and the chicken wings. But Voch, you know you love that Mambo Sauce. You know, it comes in gallon sizes now. Just letting you know. You can get a gallon size of it. But today, my man Greg ended up sharing this to me, and he said, you know, Voch kind of made amends with you about your trash can full of dirt. See, here's the thing. Maybe there's a little misunderstanding, okay? For me, being that I was a nose guard, okay, back in the day, okay, you're like, nose guard? Nose guard? He means nose tackle, doesn't he? Ain't no, what's a nose guard? Nose guard is what they used to call us in a 50 defense. You meant that you lined up over the center, okay? Your nose was right there with the center's nose. And you got the crap beat out of you. But you had one job. And one job only, and that is at that point of attack that you hold that spot. You don't get pushed out into the secondary. You take on the double team. You drop an anchor to clog up the middle. You keep the guards from going over and getting the linebackers, because those guys, well, they're the ones that got all the glory. You just got knocked the hell around. And when that center went one way and the guard went the other way, it was your job to take on that fullback, because more than likely he was coming to take your head off. Or sometimes it was that wham block where the tight end comes in motion and they snap the ball and you don't even see him coming, and bam, you know, he just clocks you upside the head. Yeah, I think that's where I got a couple of those concussions. And when all that stuff doesn't happen and you are in the hole and ain't nobody touching you, that's when you better beware of that tackle who's taking his time coming down to hit you in the ear hole. But if you have a guy in the middle who can take on all of that abuse, when you can control the middle of the field, in my mind, you can do anything. Because if you can hold that gap, that means your edge rushers, which are going right upfield, they're flying upfield to close down that pocket. That means that quarterback can't step up. Tom Brady got beat in the Super Bowl several times. Why? Because he does not like pressure in his face. He does not like seeing people at his feet. Ugh. When you can push the pocket, good things happen for you. And when you can't, they run roughshod right up the gut on you. And that's what's happened to the Dallas Cowboys. We haven't had a great guy in the middle since really Leon Lett. And the Dallas Cowboys have not invested in one technique, guys. Now, the thing we had, the disagreement between Voch and me, okay, the young gun, okay, because when he spits out facts like a machine gun. That's why I call him the young gun. He always said, all you want is a trash can full of dirt. Now, I want somebody who can hold up the damn middle. What I always say is I want a roll off dumpster with wheels, okay? Because I want him to roll right up in there. I don't want him to get picked. I don't want him to get pushed out of there. I want him to be like a fire hydrant. And see, Rod Martinelli's thing was always taller guys, taller, leaner guys. And see, the problem with being taller on the defensive line is it's harder to gather yourself. You know, when you start stretching out, you're easy to move. You like that guy that's about 6'2", about 320, 330, but can move. And see, Voch always accused me of basically saying, "Oh, you just want that trash can full of dirt." And I was like, "No, I want a guy who can clog up the middle and put pressure on." So today, Voch, the mouth that roared, he did a video today right here, and I want you guys to listen to this.
Of my time to offense, because I'm offense guy. I prefer offense, but I did think I needed to be fair to, the portion of Cowboy fans that tune into my content and my channel. I had to be fair to y'all because some of y'all have defensive questions, So I started doing the linebacker videos. I kind of looked at corners for a little bit. Y'all can check those guys out. Right. But I feel like the most important piece of this defense for a number of reasons is Dontari Poe. And everybody, let's just take one big collective sip of water before we get started. That's why I say that, right? First of all, let me just talk about my relationship with one techs, right? I feel like as a whole, the league doesn't really value them anymore because there aren't many one techs that I would consider valuable, I normally refer to them as these trash can full of dirt type guys, these big 340, 50-pound guys that can't move. I don't think those guys exist anymore. And there was a portion of my YouTube life where I was basically battling people with that notion. Me and Mark Holmes kind of went at it for a little bit. He wanted this big Tony Saragusa type of cat. And I'm like, man, like even like 3-4 teams don't have that kind of guy anymore. Just some big object that can't be moved, that doesn't move really well. That doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in this football, right? So when you see big 350 guys now, you see guys that can kind of move around a little bit because movement is important. If you got a big object in the middle of your defense that can't move, I'm just going to run to the outside, right? I'm just going to run outside zone. I'm going to hook your end and log your front side tight end, your front side linebacker, which is the linebacker of the side that I'm running to. All I got to do is block that dude and block the end, then we're good to go. Because your one tech is not going to be athletic enough to get any movement, right? That's why Vita Vea was so important. That's why guys like Danny Shelton.
I feel what you're saying there, Voch. I feel what you're saying on that. But see, if you get a guy who's getting blown out and he's getting your linebackers beat, they're going to run up the middle on you all day, all freaking day. And in which case, I would prefer having a guy who maybe can't get that penetration, but doesn't get pushed out the middle. Because at least you're not at the point of attack giving up space. You know what I'm saying? And I agree. I'd rather have a Dontari Poe, a guy who can move. And that's why I wanted my man, Neville Gallimore, the Canadian bulldozer. Because when I see that guy move, that guy who's about 310, 320, who get that man body, that man beefy body up in there, who can move like a freight train coming down the tracks, who can get penetration, who will literally make quarterbacks piss down their legs. I agree with you that you want a guy that can move, but I'll take a guy who at least can clog up the middle. And we ain't had nobody can clog up the middle. That that, okay, this team is just going to line up and man on man and just try and take us on. We just haven't had a guy that can do that. But I digress. Let's go on.
Were so interesting when they were coming out. Sheldon Day, these big 350-pound some odd guys, and Danny Sheldon ain't even great, right? But he big as hell and he can run.
Yep.
He big as hell and he can run. He ain't got to be the best, but if you can have that size in the middle and be able to move somewhat, just move somewhat, then you're considered more valuable than these other guys. You look at one techs like Antoine Woods, these one techs that mostly exist in the league. They may be 300 or so pounds, but they sacrifice that 30 to be able to move a little better. Antoine Woods can move a little bit. He can move a little better than a Tony Saragusa would. Take a look at your boy Dontaria right here. Hold on.
Can't really
Hold on, buddy.
on those
Let's just take a look at your buddy
like
Dontaria right here. Number 5. He's your one tech. Let's just take a look at him. Let's just take a look at him. Come on, player. You know, if you look at Antoine Woods, you know, one techs that are built like him, that look like him, they sacrifice 30 pounds to be able to move around a little better, right? So when you find these one techs that give you that package, you know, those guys normally, you know, those guys are the exception to the rule, in my opinion. So you take a guy like Dontari Poe, who's 300 and mad pounds, right? However big he is. If y'all have a number, you can help me out in the comment section. I think there's a certain threshold where like he ain't got to be exact.
But anyway, you know, my man Voch, you know I love you. Voch, you know I love you, man. But again, you're the offensive guy. Let me at least explain at least my point of view. You must control the middle of the field. When I went to JMU, and this was for you, Doug West, we had Charles Haley. We didn't know Charles Haley was going to end up being in the NFL and getting 5 rings, but Charles was special. Charles was a beast, and Charles was crazy. Okay, I was just glad I was on defense and didn't have to actually hit him in practice. But I played, like I said, nose tackle, about 225 pounds. Now, back in the day, there weren't a whole lot of 300-pound people, okay, playing in the National Football League. Dave Butts was like the first one, and that was like in the mid-'80s. Doug West was about 5'10.5", 5'11", unlimited wrestler. In fact, as a sophomore, he took second on the East Coast as an unlimited wrestler. Doug was about 310, 320. And what I hated about practice, oh my God, what I hated about practice. Damn. Warming up, we had to sing form tackle. Okay, form tackle. And what it is you basically are taking your shoulder pad and you're getting up underneath the guy, you know, the waist, and you're driving through him, picking him up, and you're carrying him for 10 yards. Doug had it made because I was only 2 1/4. Okay? Doug, no problem, I got it. Doug West was 320. I had to pick first of all, it was hard enough to get my arms around Doug. Pick him up and carry him for 10 yards. But the amazing thing about Doug, for the first 3 games in 1985, 3 quarterbacks went out of the game in 3 weeks because of Doug. Doug could get a push in the middle. He had that weight and that ass that could do it. Doug was a freak of nature. Doug would have been an incredible NFL player, but sadly, in training camp, he was on the back of a pickup truck, and when the truck stopped, he stood up to call another player on to hop on the truck, and the truck took off, and he fell off of the truck head first and ended up dying. But when I look at Dontari Poe and I see that body and that frame, it reminds me of Doug and what Doug should have been if he had lived. Guys like that are special. But when you can get a push in the middle and a guy in the middle, and the Dallas Cowboys have always been just kind of like, meh, we don't need that. We could put anybody in there. But understand, you can't. It is a position that is literally hell. You get beat up, battered, bruised. But you got to want to get that abuse, and you want to give it right back. And if you got that guy makes everybody else on that defense better. Because the quarterback don't like that guy in his face. That means you may have to keep that running back to help out. That means you may have to double team. And if you are double teaming that guy, you got a D-Law on the outside who hopefully is hangry one-on-one. You don't have help from the back. Or you have to keep in a tight end, which means there's less people out in the routes. That big ass right there who's taking on a double team is keeping your linebackers clean so they can look around and see what's coming and boom, get to the point of attack and make the tackle. That guy is getting that quarterback antsy because he sees him right there as soon as that ball snaps and feels the walls closing in on him, and he's going to get rid of that ball sooner. Which means your cornerbacks, your safeties, they don't have to hold guys for 5-6 seconds while I sit back here comfortable surveying the field like Aaron frickin' Rodgers has done for 6 and 7 seconds and finally picking us apart. So yes, Voch, I've wanted that trash can full of dirt. And I'm happy that we've got Terry Pope and we got the junior there in the Canadian bulldozer, Neville Gillimore. Voch, you know you like family to me, man. You like my son. And when this whole thing is over, I'm gonna get you that big gallon jug of Mambo sauce to go with that big pile of chicken wings. Whew. I can't wait. I pray that we can get this season on so I can see the big guys in the middle raising havoc. I'm Mark Holmes, and as always, I want to thank all of you great YouTubers out there. Voch, Law, E2 Blue, DMV, Crunk, Michael Anthony Fitness, all of you, Cowboys family, my Cowboys family, and everybody else. All the hard work you guys are doing, keeping us all together here while we're dealing with this crap. I'm going to see you guys later.